I'm connected remotely to a computer that's reported as locking up or freezing once a day, give or take, and they have to restart the computer to get it back in. As long as they're actively working on it, they have not experienced a lockup or any problem while working on the computer. But walk away and leave the computer unattended for a length of time and it's locked up or frozen when they come back to it. And this computer is not, it's in an internal office that is not used very often. So the user might come to it once in a day, restart the computer, do whatever they want to do, walk away, leave it on, and the next day or maybe hours later they come back and discover it frozen. So I'm doing a little bit of checking on it to see what I can find out. I'm recording this live as I'm discovering what's here, so I don't know what's here yet. I have the event viewer on screen for that computer. Going to expand the Windows Logs section and then click on System. I know that it locked up. Well, let's see. I just got it restarted within the last half hour or so. So we should see some indication there. It's now 4:06 p.m. So I'm going to scroll down here a little bit looking for, you know what, before I do that, I'm going to click to force sorting this by date and time because the system log doesn't always have perfect sorting until you ask for it to sort. It's usually going to be chronological order by this date and time column, but that's not always the case. So I see 3:57 p.m. a lot here. I'm going to close this details panel so I see more on the screen. Then I'll click in the scroll bar below the scroll box so it goes down one screen worth at a time. And here I can clearly see the jump. So 3:56, it appears to have restarted. And 12:52 was the last thing that was recorded. I don't see any errors in this area. Here we have some warnings, but those would typically not be a lockup. And then I'm going to scroll up a bit and find here would be probably an indication that it rebooted without cleanly shutting down first. So that's the indication that something went wrong. This is event ID 41. So I'm going to go filter the current log for event ID 41 because that's going to show me every instance where this has happened, and this is going to give me a record of how often it's happening. So even at 9:20 there was one. I mean at 12:39, that's just before the system is rebooted without cleanly shutting down first. That was close to the last time that I saw any activity, meaning close to the freezing time. That's kind of interesting. So the 17th was the prior incident. The 17th, I think, would have been Friday, yes. And then there's two occasions on the 16th, and then one on the 14th, 9th, 3rd, 2nd, so on. So the 16th, here's two of them that are fairly close together. That concerns me because that makes me think they did a restart, and then very shortly after that, it locked up again. I want to come back to this one and take a closer look around that 12:39:34 clear filter. Whoops, I see I've got my picture in the way over here. So I was doing that. I did the filter current log over here in order to filter for event ID 41, and then here I'm going to clear filter. I'm looking for 12:39:34. 12:39:34. I repeat that because I haven't written it down. I gotta wait for it. 12:39:34. Scroll down here. Yeah, so this is real close. 12:39:50. 53, 12, 39, 34. This is error 6008, which is also a way that I have searched for these types of issues. So 6008 is a more specific information. It tells me when the previous shutdown was unexpected. So 70914 it's saying was unexpected. And this is the same 1239. So I saw activity in the log up till when? Just 1252. So that makes it look like that doesn't mean that it locked up at 1252. That means from sometime between 1252 and 356. We don't know when that occurred. Let's try sorting for 41 and 6008. Right? 41 was the number that we just searched for. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, 41 and 6008. And see what we get. The way to do that is 41, 6008, and then click OK. Do we get both of those every time? That should be a consistent pattern. Yeah, certainly it is. All right. We didn't see any other errors or critical messages around that time, so we don't know what is causing this. I'm going to go do a few basic things that I typically do for this type of situation. So I'm going to right click on the start button and choose Device Manager, and then go disable all power management options within Device Manager. Well, here's something that's got a problem. PCI serial port is not working right. Drivers for the device are not installed on a serial port. I don't know what on this computer would be connected to a serial port. So what I think I want to do is disable that device. Answer yes. And then go to items that might have power options. So I'll right click on the graphics. There's no power tab there. That's an integrated graphic, so it makes sense that there wouldn't be any. CD drive, doesn't seem likely that would be a source of trouble. Doesn't have a power tab. Where would the next one be? I'm thinking this is probably a wired keyboard and mouse. Oh, there is a power management. We'll remove the checkbox for allow this device to allow the computer to turn off this device. Don't want to allow that, but allow this device to wake the computer. That would mean to wake it up out of sleep mode, for instance. Yeah, that's okay. We can keep that. And then this would be the mouse. Power management has that same setting, so that's fine. Is the monitor powering off? So far, all these devices look pretty generic. They're not specific name brand devices. Here, I want to look at the network adapter and power management. Allow the computer to turn off this device to save power. No, don't want to allow that. Because the thing is, when it tries to wake up that device, if that activity goes wrong, that could cause a lockup. And I'm saying that by my reasonable deduction. I'm not saying that from some authoritative source. But I have found that disabling this power management setting for any devices that have it can fix problems related to sleep mode, standby mode, hibernation, and I have a strong suspicion that can also be causing a problem such as what we're having where it locks up after a period of time. Now, I'm getting way down here at the bottom. I'm going to start expanding from the bottom because that gives me a more convenient way to view these things. USBs, I have seen power management on occasion. Yeah, there's power management, so we're not going to let the computer turn that or shut that down. Now I think I changed that for one. Does that change it for the others? No, it doesn't. All right. And then the composite device, I don't think there's going to be a power management because I think it's only one of these USB entries that'll have a power management, which would be the root hub. And I'm suspecting that generic hub will not have a power management, but I haven't done this enough to be real confident. Yeah, it does have power management. So we'll remove the check mark there. So I need to lock this in my mind better so I don't have to go through all of these. Fortunately, this computer doesn't have a whole lot of stuff in the USB section. So USB hub root, generic USB hub. Composite device did not have it, and the hands controllers did not have that setting. System devices, I think I've been through those before on other computers, and maybe there's a couple items in there, but it takes so long to go through all of those. I'm going to say that I'm going to skip those. May come back to that another time. Storage controller, no. Sound and video cards. Sounds like it could have a power management, but those are very generic. So generic devices, I wouldn't expect to have that type of selection. Although that was generic USB hub. So I guess I'm going to have to eat my words on that. Software devices, I'm not going to check those. Processors, I'm not going to check those. Communications port, so I've already checked all of that stuff. And then IDE, SATA, no power there. Human interface devices, USB input device, yes. Power management, remove that check mark. Remove that check mark, move that bus. So how does that phrase make me think of that show that does the bus? Some kind of a home makeover show I'm thinking of. Let's get rid of all these check marks. What do you want to guess these upper two is not going to have power management? Oh, it does have power management. Wrong again. But doesn't have the check mark I'm looking for. And I'll call this the last one. So I certainly could be checking more items in there. Didn't check everything, but I kind of feel like that was half sort of targeted. Now this thing here, is it gonna, yeah, it's gonna do that pop-up. So I'm just gonna completely turn that off. First I'd like to remove the open on hover and then remove, and then go to news and interest and make it turn off. Now, the reason why I remove that check mark first is because sometimes Windows updates or something might bring that back. And if it does bring news and interest back, I'm hoping that having that open on hover check mark removed, that specific configuration change will stick. Let's take a look at what Windows Defender is complaining about. Set up OneDrive. No, we're not going to do that. Dismiss that. And now I've got all green check marks. Whoops, no, app and browser control. I'm going to turn that on. I have found that doesn't seem to cause problems, and it's my hope that helps reduce the amount of times that we get the fake scammer infection messages. Then the next thing I want to do is check power. So I did hit the Windows key and then power space ampersand. I spelled it wrong, but it found it anyway. I want to disable any kind of power management in here, including screensaver. So I'm going, this already says never for both of those items. Additional power settings. It's on high performance. I think this is probably already set the way I want it to be. Both of these are set to never. Change advanced power settings. hard disk after 20 minutes. I'm going to change that to 0 so it never turns off the hard drive. And then check these multimedia settings. There's nothing in there. In regards to, let's see, prevent idling to sleep. Oh, that's when sharing media. We don't share media anyway. Processor management, nothing there I want to do, nothing there, nothing there. Oh, wait a minute. USB selective suspend setting. Yeah, let's have a look at that. No, I don't want any selective suspend. The less stuff that the computer does, the better for this type of troubleshooting. Allow wake timers. I'll disable that. And hibernate after, never. Allows hybrid sleep. Let's turn that off. Sleep after, never. Wireless adapter settings. This isn't connected by a wireless adapter, and I'm not even sure it has one. Maximum performance would be the best thing for us there because it prevents the computer from trying to manage that device if it has it. I don't think it has it. Background settings. Slideshow available. No, we don't need to have paused or available. Yeah, I want the least activity of the CPU. So I think that'll be fine. That'll be fine, leave that as is. So those settings are fine. And then let's go to additional power settings and what the power buttons do. I want fast startup to be disabled. So here I'm going to change settings that are available and turn off fast startup. We'll turn off sleep, so that's not even available. Lock is fine. And I'm going to pause that. And just a couple more items to check on or adjust. I'm going to come back here and close this down and go to a DOS prompt. So Windows key CMD to get to a command prompt. And choose run as administrator. I don't think I actually need an administrator for this. Answer yes to that, but just because it's my habit. So then what I do here is Powercfg-H off, and this turns hibernation off, so that hibernation isn't even an option. Now let me go take a look at the power menu here and see if it doesn't even show hibernation there, but this turns the power, the hibernation file off and disables it. And then exit from there. And the last item I want, let's try exit again like I mean it. Then the Windows key and advanced settings. Yeah, advanced system settings. Click on that. Come into performance settings. Here it's got all these advanced performance settings. I'm going to change this to best performance, which will take off a lot of those check marks. Come up here to advanced and have a look at virtual memory is 960 megabytes. Click on the change button. Minimum allowed 16 megabytes, recommended 1650, currently 960. So it's automatically adjusting the paging file. Windows key E to bring up Windows Explorer and see a little bit about the configuration of this computer. Properties, and it is an i3 2100, 6 gigabytes of RAM. Windows 10 Home 21H1. That's all okay. What's going on with Windows Update? So that paging file, I'm going to stick with that, refined, and I'll cancel instead of OK to avoid restarting, but it still wants to restart. We'll just restart later. Windows key update space set. That gets Windows Update settings in the search results. Last check today, 12:47 p.m. Update history. Looks like updates are going just fine. Last update successfully installed August 2nd. So that all looks okay. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to leave the remote connection open, and I'll come back and check on it periodically. It could be that my remote connection is enough to keep it stable. And if it remains stable, maybe late tonight or maybe tomorrow morning, I'll disconnect from it and then check on it through the day and see if it's still available. I know it's locked up if I try to connect to it and I find an indication saying it's offline. That's what tells me that it's either locked up or turned off, and they've told me they're not going to intentionally turn it off. So that's the next step here. So that's it for this video. I hope that's been useful. Have a great day. Catch you later. Goodbye.